Okay, I'm going to show you guys and gals how to do ornaments. I'm going to make a couple of my favorite ornaments, but I'm going to pass some around that we've made for hospice. We do a lot for hospice. In fact, the weekend after Thanksgiving, we'll be at the Carolina Mall turning ornaments for hospice, and the following weekend we'll be turning them for hospice. Whatever we turn, they'll sell and get money for it, and our goal this year is to get them $3,000. Last year we did something like $1,300. They love this. But I'm going to pass some of this stuff around. Be careful with some of these. There's a lot of work in some of these. This one is hollow. It took me hours and hours and hours. I'll never make another one.
Be careful with it.
Yeah. These are very fragile. This is sea urchins. They're hollow. If you've never made sea urchin ornaments, they're a hoot. I mean, they're just fun to do. Very light. If you want, just pick that up off of there. The heaviest part on this is that I made it out of purple heart, the wood.
Where do you get the sea urchin?
Pretty much have to order them. You can
Yeah.
find them online quite easily.
Supplies?
Yeah.
Yeah, craft supplies have.
Yeah. That particular sea urchin there is probably $3-4.
If anybody
That
really wants
particular
sea urchins, let me know, because a couple times a year Sheila and I drive down to Florida to visit
Yeah.
family, and there's places that we pass that is stockpiled.
You can get them over in Wilmington.
Yeah.
Okay, this is one that was popular last year at the hospice. You can make them very quick. It's a little snowman. I don't have the eye hook, and I'll tell you about the eye hook and stuff. This is another sea urchin. This is pretty much one of my designs. I modified somebody else's. I passed the template around, or a fixture that you guys can see how I do the halo. The original design had a wooden halo, and I didn't like it. Okay, I made them bunches of those. This is one that I'm going to make tonight. I made literally thousands of these things. Vern's made hundreds and hundreds and hundreds at the fair. The first fair that we did with the Southern Piedmont Woodturners, this was like 4 or 5 years ago, I made 400 that week. I'll show you how those are made. I'll show you that one. Did it come apart? Okay. And then this is another one that I do a lot. This is hollow. If you lift it, feel it, it's hollow. I'll show you how I do those. Okay? And some of you folks have already seen these. This is the Birdhouse ornament blanks. You prep this stuff up ahead of time. You prep them up, then you can knock them out like crazy. And, it's another thing we do at the fair. People go crazy over it. We'll have one guy up in Concord. Basically, all he's doing all week is turning ornaments. Probably what, 1,000.
We didn't do as many this last year, but
we did a bunch.
we do a bunch usually. We didn't have a lot of good blanks ready.
Yeah. And there are lots and lots of ways to do this. This original idea for the birdhouse ornament was a guy named Don Rose. He came, did a demonstration. I did some birdhouse ornaments before that. This was the easiest, simplest, neatest, cutest little birdhouse ornament that I saw. And what he did is he used this is a mandrel for holding round sanding drums. You got to use the left-hand drive one, so when you're running this, it will tighten up instead of loosen up, because you don't want it loosening up when you're turning it. And what he did is he chucked up drill chuck up in the lathe, clamped it down, used the drawbar, and would expand that. And they work. If you're only going to do a few of them, that's a good way to go. Just get you a 3/4 inch mandrel and a 1 inch mandrel, because you need a 1 inch mandrel for the roof. If you're going to do lots of them, these things only last for about 100. Then
And they're kind of slow going.
yeah, it's kind of slow. And when I first started doing the birdhouse ornaments, I would do at least 100 before Christmas. Give away half of them, put the other half in a bowl. When people would come to the house, people would either take one and leave, and then after that, my wife decided we'd put up a tree and put them on it. And when they come to the house, they just take one and leave. It's a good giveaway. It's like 10 minutes you can do one of these. Okay? The other way came up with, a bunch of us kicked this idea around for a long time, made these little fixtures. These are expanding mandrels. I'm going to use one on the roof. I'm going to show you another trick that I learned since then. And they'll expand. And I'll show you how this works. That goes in. We can expand it, turn it, and it holds really, really good. Doesn't wear out so fast.
Did you make those yourself,
We
Roland?
did, yeah. Vern made some, I made some. This actually fits my grizzly chuck. Make them fit whatever you want. Okay, this is a neatest, newest toy. I learned about this through a guy. He wanted me to make him a pin chuck. I didn't even know what a pin chuck was, although I had an idea. Yes, like a woodchuck.
Like that commercial. Yeah, funny commercial.
I'm going to pass one of the other ones around so you can see it. It's a round rod with a flat on it that has a pin. There we go. Okay, pass that around, and I'm going to show you right now how I set this thing up. And you can make it to fit anything. I just happen to have this gizmo, which is Morse tapered. It takes double angle collets. I use this also on my rose engine. I use it on all kinds of stuff. And I was telling some folks earlier, I like to be able to put drawbars in the tailstock, but if you're holding anything in the headstock, make you a drawbar. Because if you don't, that's going to come out. They're not designed to take lateral play. When I'm teaching students, teach them how to run mills and lathes, they want to mill with a drill chuck, and I go crazy. And I let them know ahead of time that it will happen. Said if it's meant to hold a mill, it would have been called a mill chuck, not a drill chuck, and they'll come apart. This will wobble itself out, and I tell them, they're running a mill, and it's the same thing if you run this. This is running around, you're doing a couple of thousand RPM, and it wobbles out and goes, and if you're lucky, it's only going to hurt you. Okay, you don't want that sticking out of your chest. Okay? I'm going to show you how well this pin chuck holds. I was amazed. So I made this, the first one, for this friend of mine who was making game calls. And he explained it to me, and told him I'd make it. And I thought, it's such a waste, but you know, what the heck, he's a friend. And I went home, tried it, went, holy cow, this thing really works. When you turn that, that pin rolls over and locks in, and you can take a heck of a cut, and it won't come out.
That's almost better than,
Yeah.
it's probably quicker, except Lou, you better make
Right.
up a lot of extra pins.
But it won't work on the short, I'll show you, on the roof of the birdhouse, it won't work. Because you gotta have, I mean, the birdhouse, you've only got just a little tiny depth in that counterboard. And I'll still support everything with the tailstock that I can. So you can take some healthy cuts. And with the rubber mandrel, you can't take a cut like that. They'll slip every time. I get it cleaned up. Then all I gotta do to size, I gotta size this so it fits into that roof, that little turned area there. And I'm a big user of this. I'm a measurer.
Roland, this mandrel came around, but there's a little dowel pin with it. What's that dowel pin for?
That locks the piece in. That
So it
pin goes in the flat.
A flat in there?
You shove the piece up on there and twist it, it locks in. That's all that's holding this right now.
What is it, a little dowel, a little pin laying on top of the flat?
Exactly. I had seen pictures of it years ago and thought, okay, if that was so good, people would be selling them like crazy. Well, it turns out there are people selling them, they're just not selling them like crazy. Now I can put on here any shape I want. Once I decide or get that turned. And I'd go as thin as you can because you want these things to be light. And get as good a finish as you can. You won't have to sand so much. And that becomes the shape.
There's a bird in it already.
Yeah. Well, I didn't bring my Scotch right. You would sand it, do whatever you want. More often than not, in most of the woods, I'll get a good enough finish that I use 220 and then I'll Scotch Brite it. It does just fine. Then put this aside, and then to take it off, you just reverse it and pull it out.
So is the little circle there show you which side is?
Exactly. Yeah, I put that on there. The commercial one doesn't have that.
Now, how do you hold that? Is this where you hold it?
Yeah, if you look at, there's the pin.
Yeah. But then the nut on the other, this side, is that what locks this on?
Right, that's what's holding this. You could hold this in a chuck. You can hold your pin mandrel into whatever you want. I turned all mine 1/2 inch because friend gave me this, the collet holder, and a 1/2 inch collet, and that's all I've been able to afford.
So that's a collet holder you use.
Right,
to hold.
it's a number 2 Morse collet holder, and he got it off the internet when Fred, you guys remember Fred, he got one for his Rose engine and got me one for who knows why.
What size
Okay.
is the hole that's bored in the birdhouse?
1/4 inch, it's 1/4 inch, and
You mean the big part?
the big hole's a 1/4 inch and the little hole's an 1/8 inch.
No, the
If-
big,
oh, the big
part,
hole-
In the
the
board
big part
itself.
that's going in the man.
3/4, 3/4. If you want the drawings for this, look up Don Rose. He's got the drawings on the internet. In fact, when the last time I did this demonstration, I guess most of you guys weren't here then. Guy named Brian and I did this as a demo. He did a long icicle, and I did the birdhouse ornaments. And the local newspaper came, wrote up an article about it, and I still got the picture of Brian turning. And because I passed out the paper that said this was Don Rose's stuff, I was known as Don Rose. So when I met Don Rose later, I told him, I said, I did a demo showing your birdhouses and stuff. I said, everybody down in Waxhaw thinks I'm Don Rose, so if some good-looking women come to your house looking for Don Rose, they're looking for me.
Roland,
Yeah.
that human shop could be made out of wood.
Could. Yeah, it could.
I'm gonna try to make them when you can make it
Yeah.
out of wood and just mill a flat in there and everything's down.
I'll turn another one real quick just to show you. I mean, these things go quick. And like I say, when I do these, I'll do a couple of dozen at a time. At least 10. And it holds. I mean, I'm taking some serious cuts.
The pin is about an 1/8 inch.
Yeah, but it could be
and
whatever. I
You're
just
milling down
about an 1/8 inch.
so that it's about the same.
Right this, yeah, so when you slip that on, it just will slip over. Yeah, anybody that's got access to a milling machine, they can knock this out quick. I read an article by a guy that wanted one. He was doing game calls, and he filed his. He's got more patience than me. And I always fit the piece to the roof. I found out that sometimes that there's some differences, and when there's not, that's okay. You guys that haven't done this yet, you don't know what you're missing. That thing will size stuff like now. You take your pair of dial calipers. You can get them for like 19 bucks. But don't use them like they come out of the box.
Around the corner.
Yeah, you round those sharp corners. See how these corners here are rounded? You round those, they won't grab on you. If you don't round them and you're doing this, it's gonna, okay?
Not fun.
Yeah, it could get pretty ugly.
It breaks your heart, doesn't it?
That's right. That'll stop a pacemaker. Like I say, they're only about $19. once you get good at it, you're doing it pretty repetitive, you can hold stuff within the 5/1000ths of an inch or so. That's about the thickness of a piece of paper. That's not too shabby. I'll make this one a little bit different. And I told John, you guys can raffle these off. Put them into the raffle, do whatever. If I take them home, I'll have to finish them, and my wife's just going to give them away to whoever comes through the door.
Roland, if you take a 3/4 valve rod and run the end of it across the laser blade on the table saw and flatten that out like that,
You could.
suck it up, turn it up a 1/2 inch from the other end and make that angle.
Well, you don't need to have it 1/2 inch. I mean, I make it 1/2 inch so it will fit
Your collar.
fit my collet. You can make it, you can take a 1-inch piece that fits a chuck, or a 3/4 inch piece fits your chuck,
Yeah.
turn it down, flatten it, and do whatever. Take bandsaw it if you want to, I suspect.
You could make it fit into a regular chuck that has this
Exactly.
little offset
Right.
thing where the center screw thing goes in.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Groove in it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
You use roll pins from the hardware store.
Well, you want something that's pretty round. I don't know if- I don't know. So you can let your imagination just get away with you. Pass that around. Okay, that's how now I do the bodies, because I can slip them on, slip them off. Vern and I came up with this next thing I'm going to show you. I guess basically Vern and I, we piddled around with different things, and Vern made some out of aluminum. I made some out of plastic. And
Aluminum didn't last. I didn't take the flexing. When the jaws expanded, maybe after a couple hundred birdhouses, the jaws kind of fell off.
yeah. Like I say, we do. When I say hundreds of them, I'm serious. It's hundreds.
One time I think I did 75 before the fair opened. One time. Get there a couple of, because you were giving those things away.
Yeah.
And people would put, we tried to get $1 a piece for them in a tip jar. And you probably got a tip for every fourth one.
Yeah. About like tops.
Yeah. Maybe every third, depending on how hard you press the people. Told them it was for a good cause. Then you get some of those guys like down in Concord that made a hobby of seeing how much they could get for.
Then this is the super duper modified version. This thing really works nice. And I'm only using this chuck. I made this to fit my grizzly chuck. You can see the dovetail on the back side. It fits my grizzly. I don't have a 1-inch thread adapter for my grizzly. Or yeah, for my grizzly to fit on one of these small lathes.
What kind of chuck is that, Roland?
This is Penn State's big one, the Barracuda 4. I got all the goodies with this one. Yeah, it run good enough. Stuff doesn't have to run perfect. You'll hear guys say that. It's wood, folks. And this is, you can see the inside. There's a drilled hole. The extra counterboard holes inside are for clearing the ends of these mandrels. If you buy the mandrels and use it, like say, we used them for a long time. It has a piece that sticks out.
You can get those little mandrels at Harbor Freight.
Yeah, for near next to nothing. Don't get the ones from Woodcraft. Woodcrafts are right-handed threads. Yeah, as you're turning this, they'll back up, and that's kind of not fun. But you want it to sit pretty straight. So that's why all the counterboards and stuff. Still, the basic idea for the stuff. Don Rose, I think he's like one of the most brilliant guys that's in the area. If you ever get a chance to see him demonstrate, he's good.
Where's he from?
You know, I think he's from South Carolina. I think he comes in. He came to Concord, did a demo. Came in. It looked like the Don Rose show. He had his little stand there, was all finished, had his lathe, it was in a certain place. He had stuff on this side of all these little cubby holes when everything was hanging, had stuff here. He was so organized, it was incredible. And he had so many neat tricks, just a real brilliant guy. I think he's an engineer or something, I'm not sure.
What can I say?
Yeah. It's one of them rare ones.
Yeah.
Something strange.
Okay, this is the roof. And with the rubber, you can't go this fast. You can't go as heavy a cuts because it's going to want to slip. You're only holding on about a quarter inch or so. And I changed his design a little bit. His design, the roof only went up to about here, which is okay. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. There's another guy named Dick Singh that makes some birdhouse ornaments. He has a real tall piece in here that he screws the eye in, and I like that, so I just added that to this. Well,
Angela, you wanna make a short one?
that's right. With big hole in it. That's do I got another one.
That happens quite a bit.
Yeah.
They get drilled too deep.
That's for the Chinese there.
Yeah.
You can use it for a little bowl.
And the other thing you got to watch when you make them is if you put too much pressure on some woods, cedar and oak doesn't work real good, but they turn out to be nice looking. They'll split apart on you. I just happen to have extra one here. And you guys anytime can come up and look at this. It's pretty simple design.
Yeah, but we're pretty shy to get it
Yeah. Come on.
Hey, where are your belts hanging up there? Belt sander, that you see on the back. Oh, okay.
One more time. This is just a large spindle gouge. I like it a lot for roughing this small stuff. It allows me to do side cutting and shave it. Like that. And I can plow material out. You can get as creative as you want. I would sand. And if you've never tried Scotch-Brite for finishing, that's another one I very highly suggest. It does a nice job. It's quick. It's you can use it until it just completely falls apart. And I keep a little drill. I just bought this at Harbor Freight. If you can hear it, it's got lots of little drills in it. It's just for drilling the hole to put the, and this is just wax, beeswax. Putting the hole for the eye, a little eye hook. And that's the birdhouse. Okay, then we would take eighth-inch dowel and cut it about a half-inch long. And that will be the perch. I glue the lid on, okay? Glue the perch in. Okay, can you see? Yeah, you can see that, okay? See the perch? We got eyes.
Kinda hard to find the brass eyes.
That's right.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you can find the silver ones all over the place.
Nickel printed glass. You
I'm not going to
can
put
find-
this in all the way, so whoever gets this can do with whatever.
One thing
Yeah, you put the eye in.
Something called jam.
Okay.
Hey, Roland,
Uh-huh.
So,
you know, you were talking about getting the brass signs. One of the things I've heard people have done that works real well is just to get like little brass plated fish hooks. Anything with a
Cut the back
cut it
end
off
off,
and
yeah.
just glue it in there.
Yeah, if you want to glue it in, that's good. But you buy these silver eyes, you buy them by the hundreds.
You get it from Jan's Netcraft too.
Jen, that's it, that's where I got mine.
I was just telling him.
And the Southern Piedmont group, they'll buy a couple of thousand of them at a time, and then we've got them to go. And then whoever gets this, if they will, and can you see? When I do globe ornaments, I try to use 2 different colored woods so it sticks out real good.
There's no flowers up there anymore.
And it's another one. If you go to Don Rose's website, it shows all the dimensions for this. But you don't have to get silly with it. Do whatever size works. And this is mahogany, just because I had a piece at home. I just take it till it cleans up.
We can just set it.
We'll know how to do it, but I'll read it.
It's a Mac Daddy camera, I'll tell you. I take about 1.25 inches. And I'll mark it. That's just the mark. Now I'm going to drill a hole to lighten it up, and I'm going to hollow the inside out with this real expensive tool. Checking the wood, Joe?
No, we'll put a nest in the birdhouse.
Can I put a magic mark on this stage?
Where'd you get that cutest chuck at?
Dude, I forgot my chuck, but this is a nice one.
Say it's looking pretty keyed up.
Yeah. What I'm doing, I'm going to take a 3/4 inch hole and go off. This is the width that the ornament's going to be. Imagine, it doesn't have to be round. In fact, if you make it round, I think it makes it look weird. I like mine to be squatty. But if you want to make yours round, make them round. I'm going to drill this with this 3/4 inch up to about here. And then I'm going to take a 1/2-inch drill bit and go through. And it'll all make sense in a little while. But that just gets most of the mass out of there, the stuff I want. I want a lot of this to be air. And with all this, the ornaments and stuff, you want to make the stuff out of dry wood. You don't want it warping. People are going to put them away for the winter. And I haven't had any crack. I mean, they were cracked when I started. They'd be cracked 2 years from now. I've never had any developed cracks over the winter or over the summer. Okay. That's as deep as I'm going to go with the 3/4. And this one I can go way up in here if I want. And the hollowing can be done anytime, but I like to do it before I get too much cut off this back end here. And what I'll do is I'll round off this first half.
Get some speed.
Yeah.
Jerry, be proud of you.
And there's about halfway, if you can see where that mark is. Now I don't want it to bend completely round because I'm going to make an icicle that fits on the bottom side of this. Now for the hollowing. Here's the expensive hollowing tools. And I've used these tools, I know, for at least 2 years. And all they are Allen wrenches that I bent up.
That's fine.
It's an Allen wrench on a stick. And I sharpen and pass that one around because I'll mostly just use this one. And you can see, I mean, if you look down through the side of that, I've used this one a lot. And when I grind it, I'm just going to grind this very top edge. And when it gets worn out, I'll go buy me another cheap Allen wrench. But I do know that American Allen wrenches, Umbraco and the lot work lots better than the Chinese.
And you bent them? Did you heat them up?
Oh
before you
yeah,
bent 'em?
yeah. You gotta heat them up. If you got access to acetylene, it's like really good. If you can see my mark right there, that's almost to the bottom of that. Gives me an idea when I go to swing an arc inside. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be lighter. I haven't cut through one of these yet, but probably tonight I will. Okay, but if you use this mark, it helps a lot. just have to visualize that circle that's going to be on the other side. It doesn't take long. I mean, it's a little bit more.
Now hold that tool so I can, out so I can see the tool. There you go. Oh, I can't see it too well. Bring it over here. There. Come on, focus. It didn't focus. There it did. Okay,
Want to
thanks.
turn it sideways? Okay.
No, that's fine.
And the other one I'll use if I'm going down into something deeper. Mostly I use this one for ornaments. So I get that hollowed out to where I like it. I'm a measurer. I want to match the flat up here to here because I think it just looks neater when the cap, the finial, and the icicle diameters are the same, or at least close. And you can use whatever tool you want. I mean, if you want to use a bowl gouge, it would work just as well, just spindle gouge. Or you could use a skew. But if you cut it clean, there's not as much sand that has to be done. I didn't bring any sandpaper, but I'll use this. I can't sand because I don't have sandpaper. Because once you get used to using it, it's not bad at all. See, there's no burr. I mean, there's a burr on the inside of the hole, but there's nothing on the side. Okay? Does it almost every time. I mean, I like that a lot. Yeah. Okay?
Let's see that pointing to.
Oh.
That angle on there,
Yeah, that's
Roland, is that angle on there, does it pull it to one side?
Now, what it does, it lets, in metalworking, we do the same thing. And it drops your part off without leaving a burr. And the last piece to fall is the piece that you have over here. Or the last piece to be cut is actually the piece over here. This is falling off. So you got mass that's over here and it makes it work pretty slick.
The paper gives it a room. Okay. What kind of relief? Gives it relief.
Yeah, and the other taper makes it clean. Remember how to use my chuck.
It doesn't bind up as much.
Right. Yeah, it's a good clean cutting tool, and it's only a couple of bucks. I forget what I paid for that. It wasn't much.
When you go to WT, do you have to ask the counter to get that for you, or is that out on some of the shelves?
I look it in the catalog, and when I go down, I say I want this. Okay. Now you're gonna waste about this much. Now if you get, and normally I don't leave it that long. I'll have my pieces like up to there. Okay. I'm up in here. Doing demos, you get a little gun shy. You don't want things to go wrong, pieces flying out. I mean, you just waste less. Okay, this is going to be the icicle and the finial. And I try to make, oh, and I prepped all this stuff a couple of days ago, so I like to run it out of the taper. And I personally like dovetail jaws over this style jaws. I think they hold better. They do nicer things for me. Doesn't mean it's the right one to use. I'm going to take this and make it round, and then we'll have something to work with. And this is maple. Could be anything. Normally when I'm roughing square stock down, I try to start little cuts going across. It breaks the chips up so you don't have this big splintery thing come up. If you come in and take a cut off of here, then start coming back this way, you can lift those chips out and everything comes splintering up at you. Takes the fun out of it. And this is what I like about this tool. You can run the side down like a skew. Has that ball made a full turn? The globe? Okay. No, the globe. No, globe. Did I send it out, right? The one I just turned. I just want to get some. That's all right. It's only wood.
That was stop the show, wouldn't it?
I'm going to turn this close to this size because I want, when I get this turned, I want it to fit very close to that so it looks like it blends in. Makes it look nicer. To do that, I'm going to need to size it. This is just a standard spring caliper, nothing, no tricks. It's a banana tool. This is a Badan tool being used in the French fashion. Upside down. Yeah, I told Ed when saw a YouTube guy doing it, I sent it to him on a link. He said, "You got to see this, Ed. It's just like the French to invent a tool and then use it upside down." I'm not going to be too careful with all this because I'm going to resize a lot of this anyway. You could use it this way. Is that the way you use it mostly? There's the end, not counting the piece that goes on the inside. The tenon. I want that to be clean. And sometimes I'll scrape it and then I'll part it off. You want it to be pretty straight. And I do, like say, so many of these. I'll have a design that I use every year. This is the 2010 design. And I leave a little bit on there until I'm finished.
Put serial numbers on those things.
No, I probably should.
I was supposed to know which one's longer, which year.
Yeah.
I thought maybe on the inside.
Somebody told me what would be a neat idea, and I thought was kind of clever, is to put a penny in each side of each one. Pardon? Yeah, wouldn't take, yeah. And the lighter you make it, of course, the lighter the ornament's going to be. I should have cut this before I cut all that. Wasn't paying attention. When you do yours, cut this end off before you get too far up in there. I wasn't paying attention. All I'm doing is supporting this with my fingers so it cuts the vibration down. Otherwise, it will snap off. Everything being right, this should just slip in or just barely tap into that blade. I measured something wrong. That's why they make pocket knives. And if it doesn't sit flat, most likely there's either this side right here is not square, or you got a radius in the corner, or it's a demo. And you want it to fit sort of like that, a little flatter. But see how this diameter matches up to where I was before. I like that. I mean, you can decide what you want. Okay. And I always try to make, if the finial and icicle, one of them goes south on me, I'll start over. I want to make them out of the same piece of wood. It's a silly thing. That's right, it's what I do.
Normally don't have two different species. So
yeah, I want to have it where it matches. Just gonna get the rough idea what I want. Do the same thing. Same thing here. Then I would start over. I know. Basically, all I look for is something to cover that hole that looks a little nice. And I try to keep this down So I'm going to cut it off as thin as I can. This piece here is just for holding the eye. And then a hole for the eye. If you spot that with your center drill or your center, you can drill this stuff by hand. It doesn't pay to chuck all this up and do it. And I use the wax, it just keeps it from binding up inside. It wouldn't normally be that tight. And that's it. Put the screw eye in it. Okay?